Welcome to Threads of Hope. I'm your host, Jason, and today's story is disturbing. It may not be suitable for all listeners. It's the true account of a grave robber from Ephrata, Pennsylvania, a case that shocked the community and has uncovered horrors hidden in plain sight. January 6, 2026, law enforcement in Pennsylvania arrested 34-year-old Jonathan Christian Gerlach of Ephrata in Pennsylvania. After a months-long investigation into a disturbing string of grave robberies at the historic Mount Moriah Cemetery, which spans southwest Philadelphia and Yeadon in Delaware County, detectives have been responding to reports since early November 2025 that underground vaults were being broken into and human remains stolen. The cemetery, established in the mid-1800s, containing roughly 150,000 graves, became the focal point of a chilling probe into one of the most unusual crimes authorities had ever seen. On the night he was arrested, detectives conducted surveillance watched as Gerlach walked away from Mount Moriah with a burlap bag and a crowbar. In that bag were human remains, including mummified pieces of 2 children, 3 skulls, and other bones. Officers also saw bones visible in the backseat of his vehicle. He was taken into custody on the spot. Gerlach allegedly admitted to authorities that he had used the crowbar to pry open graves and underground vaults throughout the cemetery and had taken approximately 30 sets of human remains, though what he was doing with them was unclear. That admission led to a search of his home, Washington Avenue in Pennsylvania, and a storage unit he rented that was nearby. What investigators found was horrifying. Inside his basement and storage space were more than 100 full and partial human skeletal remains, some arranged on shelves, others in containers, and some even hanging from the ceiling. The remains varied widely in age, condition, and origin. Some are believed to be 200 years old, while others were much more recent, including remains of infants and bodies with medical devices like pacemakers still attached. Investigators also found jewelry and other items believed to have been taken from the graves. The scale of what was discovered shocked authorities. Delaware County District Attorney Tanner Roos describes walking into the home as a horror movie come to life. In total, Gerlach was charged with facing hundreds of criminal charges related to his action, including abuse of corpse, theft by unlawful taking, receiving stolen property, burglary, and criminal trespass. Also, discretion of borough sites and criminal mischief, among others. His bail is set at $1 million, and the preliminary hearing is scheduled for January 20th, 2026. But the story gets even stranger when it comes to how Gerlach presented himself online, while authorities are trying to determine about his intentions with the remains. Court records and investigative reports show that law enforcement identified social media accounts linked to Gerlach that featured images of him holding the skulls and human bones. One such Instagram account used the username Dead Shit Daddy and included dozens of photos of bones and skulls, some staged and some photographed as if they were artifacts. Caption on at least one post reportedly suggested skulls and bones were available and inviting people to direct message to inquire. Language that investigators say strongly indicated an attempt to either advertise or sell the remains. Whether any actual transactions were completed or how many buyers may have been involved remains part of the ongoing investigation. Police also uncovered evidence linking Gerlach to a Facebook group called Human Bones and Skulls Selling Group. In this group, posts tagged a Facebook profile appearing to belong to him. He was pictured holding human skulls. Investigators are examining that group to determine whether Gerlach participated in selling or trading bones through the platform and whether others may have been buyers or participants in that underground marketplace. Authorities emphasize that the legal trade of human bones and remains exists in some contexts, such as for educational, scientific, or historical purposes, and may be permitted in certain states under specific rules. However, what Gerlach is accused of is stealing remains by breaking into graves and retrieving them without authorization, which is a felony, and any attempt to sell human remains obtained in that way would be illegal and complicit in the underground theft. As detectives continue to untangle the full scope of this case, identifying remains, tracing potential victims, and examining the social media trail, the community remains stunned by the sheer scale and audacity of what prosecutors are calling one of the most bizarre grave robbing schemes in recent Pennsylvania history. As this investigation continues, authorities are urging anyone with loved ones buried at Mount Moriah Cemetery to come forward with any concerns. The full extent of Gerlach's actions may never be completely unknown, and the task of identifying each set of remains is expected to take months, if not years. What's clear is that this case serves as a stark reminder, even in places meant for peace and rest and remembrance, human curiosity, obsession, and psychological can be disturbing. For now, Jonathan Gerlach remains in custody, facing hundreds of charges while investigators continue to trace his actions online, uncover his motivations, and work to bring closure to those affected. It's a story that will linger, a dark chapter in Pennsylvania's history that reminds us how fragile the boundary between obsession and criminality can be. If you have family buried at Mount Moriah, authorities are asking for you to contact Union Police Chief Henry Giammarco. Henry Giammarco. Thanks for listening to Threads of Hope. Stay safe, stay aware, and God bless.